So what body fat level is actually required to see your abs after all? Today I'm going to tell you what that number is, and matter of fact, it's probably going to surprise a lot of you, and I'm also going to tell you the best way to actually take action on that and get yourself down there no matter where you are right now. What's up guys, Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com. So one of the most popular questions I get from both men and women is there a specific body fat level that I should try to get to if I want to be able to see my abs? And I guess the reason why they ask that question is they figure if I can at least see my abs, then maybe the rest of me probably looks pretty good too. And while that might be a fair question, I think the thing you need to ask yourself first is, do you know where you're starting from? Because if you and I were going to take a trip, and let's say we're going to meet in New York City, but you're coming from San Diego and I'm coming from Connecticut, it's going to be a lot easier trip for me. So we have to know where we're coming from in order to know where we're going to and how long it's going to take us. So for that, there's a lot of methods, and one of the things you could do is kind of invest in something that's going to be a little bit more expensive, like a DEXA scan, but it's going to give you a lot more sophisticated results and information. Or you can do something like we do here with Jesse, and that's caliper testing, which is a little bit less reliable, but a lot easier and a lot of times less expensive. Or you could do what I always like to do, something we did 10 years ago on my blog, and it's something we call the eye test. And by the way, I know they're helpful, but if you're going to put them on your channel and not even give us credit, bad move, dude. All right, so what these charts show you is a couple things. Number one, they easily allow you to identify with a picture as a representative example, not an exact example, but a representative example of what it might look like at a given body fat percentage. So you can say, yeah, I kind of look like that right now. But they also help you to identify visually where you want to be or where you want to get to. And importantly here, guys, it's important to point out that the answer to the question that we started with was, what specific body fat level do I have to get to? This is where the encouraging news comes in. It's not just one particular body fat, because you can see here that the range, even on the guy's side here, to actually have abs visible even a little bit, like the top row of abs over here, is somewhere in the 16–17% range. And it goes all the way down to the most extreme. The same thing here for women. It's going to have a large range of where you can be from unhealthy to a much more healthy range, but still be able to see your abs. But depending upon what body fat level you aspire to, it's going to change the level of commitment and dedication you're going to have, and probably discomfort and all-out hatred of the path if you choose the wrong one. Because if you sit all the way over here, first of all, not only is this unobtainable and healthy for the long term, but you need to be so dialed in here and pretty much be just north of dead to be able to sit at this body fat level for any sustainable period of time. So we want to start to veer towards these other healthier ranges. The idea, though, is it becomes a lot more forgiving in terms of your lifestyle. You don't have to worry so much about your nutrition in terms of being dead-on accurate every single day, day after day after day. Cheat meals become a thing of reality as you start to veer more towards these as your ideal and what you're striving for. So the path itself is going to be heavily influenced by what body fat level it is that you're looking to get to. Now, the next thing we want to make sure we point out, though, is something called the training effect. In other words, if you're willing to train your abs along your way to your goal, there is a difference in the level of your ability to see your abs at higher levels. Because we can see right here, at a roughly 9% body fat, a much leaner individual here, there's not a lot of visible ab definition here, probably because there's not a lot of ab training going on here. On the other hand, though, this gentleman here at a substantially higher body fat, probably 15 or 16%, has much better ab development because he is training his abs directly. So it's something you want to make sure you're aware of. If you have a willingness to just add some direct core training to what you're doing, you're going to have an ability to have those abs pop at even a higher body fat level. So the next question becomes, then how do you get there? Right? There's 3 ways you can do it, and only 3 ways. 1, you could just do nutrition alone. 2, you could just try to train. Or 3, you can combine nutrition and training. You guys know me by now. You know I'm not going to bullshit you. The answer is always going to be nutrition and training, because we know, you probably tried it in the past, that just taking a nutrition approach is really just about adopting a diet, which is a short-term approach that doesn't usually allow you to even keep off whatever it is that you do lose. And then you have the guys that want to just train, and they show up at the gym, and there's no accountability once they leave the gym for the other 23 hours of the day and what they actually put in their body. And that doesn't lead to good results either. So you're going to have to learn how to combine both of them, and here's why. Because you're already getting the training effect that we already talked about, which has a direct impact on the visibility of the abs, but you're also getting the additive effect of the training with the nutrition, because you're obviously exerting effort in the gym, burning more calories, which gets to add to the overall caloric deficit you're getting from making those nutrition changes. So the rate and the speed at which you'll get to that goal of where you want to be is going to be dramatically affected by the combination of both in the most positive way. Let me show you an exact example of how this actually plays out. All right, so to break this all down, we need to do just a little bit of math but it's actually not that hard. So the 200-pound man at 30% body fat that wants to get to 10% body fat. So we know that 30% of his weight right now is body fat, 60 pounds of fat, wanting to get down to just 10% of that weight, which is 20 pounds of fat. So that means we're going to have to create an overall 40-pound loss of fat. Well, to get there, we know that we want to kind of do this at a safe rate. About 1.5 pounds per week is a very conservative number. I like to be conservative, but it works. So to do that, we know a 500-calorie deficit through your nutrition cuts, right, by eating healthier, is going to give you about 1 pound of fat loss over the course of a week, roughly. That number has actually been disproven of late, but it's still close enough to get us on track, 3,500 total calories over the week. You add an additional 250 from here to get 1.5 pounds. Jesse, will you help me with the math? Yeah. Jesse's so good at math.
With a calculator.
So if we want to get 40 pounds with 1.5 per week, how many weeks is it going to take us?
So that's 40 times 1.5.
No, divide it. You're so good with math.
Divided by
1.5.
26.6.
26.6. If we want to get how many days that is, multiply it by 7.
Times 7.
And
186.6.
186.6. Thank you. So good at math, Jesse. 186 days. It's about 6 months, guys. And remember, if you start here at 30% and you want to get here at 10%, you're not going to spend 185 days looking like this and then on day 186 look like this. You're going to get the added benefit of being able to look like this guy for a period of time, and then this guy, and then this guy, and then this guy on your journey over here. So you're going to get some additional inspiration from your own results to keep you on track. Remember, guys, it's not as hard as it looks, but you do have to get started. And the most important thing is that you get started having an idea of where you want to get to. And if you want to be over here, because that's what you identified back in the beginning of this video, then your journey is going to be even shorter, faster, and maybe even more enjoyable. That all depends upon you and how committed you are to wanting to be at a certain level. All right, guys, so there you have it, the body fat level that you need to get to. What is going on here?
Jesse's Cliff Notes. You know, where I take 15 seconds to cover what took you, 50 minutes to cover in this video? All right, so first up, if we're going to use me as the example to get to lower body fat percentages, I need to eat less gummy bears, do more squats, not be obsessed with getting to as low body fat percentage as you, because, I mean, you only have a 6-pack and I've still got that 8-pack. And lastly, instead of using calipers to measure my body fat, you can just put me on the chart as a representative example of what perfection is.
Perfection?
Perfection. Did I miss anything?
You didn't even mention you'd be training your abs.
Dude,
Forget that part?
No, I'm still doing the Baby Shark ab challenge. That shit's hot.
Get out of here. Please, go, and fast. Guys, if you're looking actually for an ab training plan, we actually have one. It's called Core 4 Abs over at ATHLEAN-X.com. If you like those outros, or if you want to say anything else about Jesse, hopefully not so nice, you can leave them in the comments below. Meantime, if you haven't already done so, guys, make sure you click subscribe and turn your notifications so you never miss a new video when we put one out. All right, guys, see you soon.